Good evening, folks, and welcome to the official ARK chat. This is Fortunate coming at you. We are now sitting on November 13th. We are at a Sunday. It's about 6:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are sitting at a wonderful position. Lots of demand for the ARK token. Very much anticipated. We have news to go over tonight. We have a special guest, Z, and we are going to pass it over to our Fortunate founder here, Mr. Atlas. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you for the introduction, Fortunate. I'm Atlas, guys. Thank you for coming tonight for the 13th podcast over here at ARK. We're so glad to have you and to share with you some updates, answer a lot of questions. Hopefully you'll be coming with tonight. And have a great conversation with all the community. We see there's a fair amount of folks that are here. I know that I get a lot of DMs from folks that, according to the hours, especially the European investors, they're asleep at this time already, but they do listen. So to all of you that aren't here live with us, sending you a shout out and thank you for all your support, believing in the project, the team, this fantastic community. Wouldn't be, the same without all of you guys. Even if you don't participate, I know that the questions that are asked here, you'll listen to them. And it helps you as you're making your mind up and you're deciding about the project, doing your due diligence. And we hope that this is a educative podcast that you're able to get those answers and just become more comfortable and confident into everything that's happening here. So, thank you for those DMs as well, guys. Fantastic. We are obviously preparing for Friday. It's going to be the second round of our public pre-sale. We understand there's a lot of demand, anticipation. With that into account, we are only allowing one NFT purchase per wallet. And there's 900 of them that are going to be available. And our hope is that that levels the playing field and that as many folks as want to come in and contribute and lock in their allocation of ARK tokens are going to be able to come and do so on Friday. We had quite a lot of folks that weren't able really to do it. There was bandwidth issue because there was so much demand for the 1,000 NFTs. You had a cap of 2 NFTs per wallet. So let's see how that plays out. We really believe that the intention is fair. It's giving as many folks an opportunity to come and participate. We have a whole week to go ahead and fill that. However, we understand that the community and the investors are the ones that decide, and they're I think they're understanding. I hope you guys understand that it's best that you come early and lock yourself into the position to be able to get them. So with that, I want to, bring Mr. Brett Nording over and see if he has some updates or news that he'd like to share from his side.
Yeah, let's thank you very much. How's everybody doing tonight? I don't have any new things. Been working today on some initial partnerships that we're looking into, as well as kind of some thought experiments through on the liquidity controller. And everything's looking great. We have, a busy week ahead of us with the dev team to finalize some of these issues that are outside the core contract. So we're looking forward to a strong week, and hopefully we'll see a little recovery in the markets. But if not, hope everybody's protecting themselves and have moved most of their volatile cryptos into stable coins at this point, as we kind of grind along this trying time in the crypto market. But I think with the excitement that we have behind the project and what people are gravitating towards in terms of a stable income and the opportunity to get out of that volatility and the emotional roller coaster ride that really comes with crypto investing, I think that people are seeing an opportunity here instead of a lot of the negativity that's going around. So I think our future in terms of this project is quite different than the rest of the market, and it's really a ray of light in the the dark times that we're going through. So yeah, I'm very positive. We've been getting, nothing but positive feedback along the way. We see the large teams that are coming over. We're getting organic inquiries from people that we talked about a while back. Big teams and investor groups that are reaching out now organically. We're not asking now; they're coming to us. So I think that our launch is going to be extremely successful. I think we're going to be able to raise all the liquidity that we intend to raise and more, because I think the demand is going to be that strong. So yeah, just preparing for that and buttoning up a few things to ensure that we have a stable chart. We can successfully launch the liquidity controller, and we have all the mechanisms in place that we've promised along the way, so that investors are protected. There's not going to be any dumping of the chart. There's not going to be any ARK floating around that people can sell quickly. So yeah, I think that we've taken the time and the steps, and we have the right team of people asking the right questions. And I think through that process, we'll have something real special here that's going to last a long time. And I think people are attracted to that. So, our mantra about taking this to the mass market and something that we can share with our family and friends and neighbors, I think that goal can happen pretty quickly with the team and the talent and the community that we have. So yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to a great week. Gonna obviously spend a lot of time and grind it out with the dev team, but I'll be around to answer questions and be there in the Telegram if anybody needs me. So
thanks for that update. Thank you so much. Yeah, somebody go right ahead.
Hey, those very, very strong, positive, bullish remarks on interest from others and organic interest. I'm curious if you can. Crap! I got an echo. Excuse me. I'm curious if you can comment on what specifically was the draw to ARK, like from others from before, that made them more aware or more interested than now. Obviously, with the market volatility, but is there anything specific they mentioned or underlined about wanting to jump into ARK more heavily or more, more so than before?
Alice, do you want to take that, or do you want me to comment on it?
You go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah. So, this has gone viral. Is probably the fastest way to say it. It's gone viral. It's across all of the DeFi communities. We're seeing, all the major drip influencers and people coming in and out of the Telegram, as well as reaching out DMs directly. So we know that, from the first private sale, we kind of eased into that because we were trying to take care of our Eternity investors. But we had such a huge demand, there was just no way. We had to at least release, some more interest and take care of those other teams that wanted in. So once that happened, then it sort of took off, and there was some key people in that first group, and then also in the second group, that have some of the largest teams and the other daily ROI dApps. So it's been an overwhelming response from those folks, and we haven't had to reach out to anyone. They've really come to us organically. And obviously the other, some of the other people that are on this call tonight, or even in our Telegram groups, they'll know they've been doing Medium articles, YouTube articles. So the word's out. We know we're on the radar screen. We know that, people like yourself, Nito, and others that are connected to Drip, they've seen what's happening to Drip right now, and maybe think that there might be a different way to do things. And I think that they're willing to take a chance with us. So, even though there's a difficult market and some of the other daily ROI dApps are having struggles, I think that that's the opportunity for us to come out with something different, to be unique in a lot of ways. And something that we had talked about as a team today was that, some of the ingredients in ARK you can't code. So it's not just about the contracts. And I think that's what the community piece is attracting people. What we're saying, our messaging, how we're treating the community, some of the content that we put out, they can see the care and the attention to detail and some of the things that aren't always inherent in other projects in this space, for good reason. Not everybody has the access to the team and the people that Atlas was able to bring together. So there's a lot of components to this that are unique, and once we all are on the Ark together, there's going to be some great opportunities that come out of that. I just know it, and we're already seeing that. And as these other larger people are coming to us that have influence, that have capital, those opportunities are expanding exponentially. So from a partnership standpoint, external investment standpoint, I think that's going to help us down the road, because there's things that we don't know right now that we'll discover along the way. And as long as we stay true to our intentions and on point, on mission, that I think that we're going to be hugely successful. So that's why I think it's easy to bring.
Absolutely, Brad. If I could add to that, to answer that question, NATO, listen, the system is just inherently built different. There's been so much attention to detail and understanding all of the levers, all the parameters that affect a long-term investment, sustainability. The team is built differently. People are realizing that. They're understanding that. I mean, just us being here tonight, I think we're almost 3 hours or 4. I'd have to look. Last night on a Saturday night here with the community, getting everybody educated, answering all the questions, having deep conversations. We're all humans. We're all folks looking for safety in a very uncertain market. The ARK has been designed to weather the storm, to weather what they're calling now, not the winter, the crypto winter, they're calling it the ice age, my friend. And, from now till maybe next summer, things could look bleak. And I think the worse that it gets, the more relevant, the more viable, the more important the ARK will become. Not only to us, that have been in crypto and DeFi, but I'm talking about the regular, housewife, the single mother, the taxi driver, the regular folks that understand that fiat is decaying, and we're bringing an answer, and we're bringing really, an opportunity for them. That it's not a guarantee. There's no guarantees in this business. Investing is a very dangerous proposition, especially if you don't do your research. But it's the people we're standing shoulder to shoulder with here, that have the skills, that have the talent, the experience to carry a project to the mass market. It makes all the difference. I know a ton of genius friends that are broke. They don't have the business skills. They have the ideas, or they can't code it, or they can't find someone to. I mean, we went through that here, my friend. It was difficult. It was tough, but if you stay the course and you stay focused, the right people will come at the right time. And I think that we're blessed for having that perseverance to see it through, to fight through the tough times. And I think it's no secret that we're poised, that we're ready to seize the opportunity and to get this crypto. I hope that answers your question, Nato.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, some critical mass and the connections for sure, and the way you're growing. The cryptozo effect definitely going to bring in a lot of volume, a lot of players, and the network effect of that. But obviously, no project is immune to the market forces and that kind of environment. So we want to.
I think most projects are actually, they're completely directly affected by that. what we built here is to not be correlated, to have our own ecosystem independent of what might be happening outside with Bitcoin, regardless of which pajama Vitalik Balbuterin is wearing on stage in a month.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I'm pleased with the rule that you added, for example, of having any purchases going directly in the vault. That's a novel thing. That's great, I feel. So that will reduce sell pressure. And also I'm thinking you might end up adjusting the maximum sell as well, depending on it. So I don't know if it's going to be mutable, your rules, contracts and stuff, but maybe I see indicators of you guys structuring we're so well that you're going to keep it running, keep the sustainability, and ride through the winter. You call it ice age.
I see it. I see a fantastic indicator, my friend. It's that you're here every night, Nito. I love that. The fact that you're always here is incredible. I want to applaud. I want to applaud you for it.
Now you're implying I'm going to continue every day.
I'm pretty sure you will. I think that you're a smart man and you're here asking the questions for the right reasons. And as an investor that's sophisticated and able to analyze and understand what is different here as you conduct your due diligence. Obviously it's not financial advice. You're going to have to decide for yourself, my friend. But, we're open and we're happy to have you here. And the fact that you're here, as so many others, on a continuous basis is absolutely a positive sign. Let's get this crypto. Mr. Z, welcome tonight. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Another day in the ARK. Good times, man. It's a good weekend. Everything sort of everyone's still taking up what's happened in the last week in crypto and sort of speculating on that. But here we are talking about opportunity and where we're going with things. I'm looking forward to this, the pre-sale on Friday. And a lot of my folks are the same. They're talking a lot about the ARK, and it's been a great week, man. We had Patrick from Cryptozoa. That was pretty awesome. That was a rabbit hole to fall into. We've had some great guests. It's been a great week. So looking forward to the week ahead.
Absolutely, man, and happy to have you here as always, and really becoming a leader in this community and bringing your insight, experience, and really, just like the love you have for the project, and being a true DeFi deal enthusiast. All of the hundreds of private sales that you've done in your group, all of the hundreds of podcasts that you've done, and really integrating with us and becoming a part as we're getting poised and ready to launch is very refreshing to have you here, Z.
Absolutely. It's very refreshing to be here. I think DeFi has, I think I said it a few times now, DeFi has many things to fix in society, in the world. And we can start with the banking industry. And when we start to see where the banking industry went wrong, we can say return ROI hasn't been great in the last 20, 30 years. And that's where DeFi can start out with the right instruments. So projects like these, projects like others that really understand, the potential that DeFi has. And they catapult, they listen to the audience, they take up feedback from the community, from peers. And that's what we seem to be doing here, especially with moving to Binance, a BNB chain, and checking up the liquidity there. And that's the way we're going to do things, man. We're going to take suggestions from the crowd here. Neto has been really vocal. We DM I try to reply to all his DMs as much as I can, but apart from Neto, there's a lot of folks that have been DMing me. So appreciate the love. There's something that, I tapped into the right vibration, and we're all inquiring and learning. And that's the way we do it in a society like this. So I'm looking forward to the future.
You are a integral part of it, my friend. And yeah, it's no secret, our history and our work together. And look, it's amazing to be surrounded by folks that I've been, through this industry with, and along the way picked up and made these friendships, and been able to really grow together. So, man, again, happy to have you on board, brother.
Yeah, no, it's good. The thing is, like, what you need in a team of dynamics, what you need is not everybody to have the same answer to all the questions, but have a difference of opinion. And I think that's where the learning really happens, where if one sees one statement and then the other sees another sort of particular moment in that statement, then you basically diverge, and then you learn something new. And fortunately, we're all different. Our DNA samples are different. Our chromosomes sort of calculate differently. But we're all going for the similar goal, which is financial freedom, which is utility. And it's always an ever-ending learning journey, especially with DeFi. So if folks like myself can take a deep inquiry into the ocean of DeFi and say these are things that we can work on, and then the crowd sort of digs that, and the crowd likes things, and I'm pretty shocked how much people like to go through a rabbit hole, because like the society we're in right now, how long does a TikTok video last? Maybe a few seconds, and then we're on to the next one. In a society where like we want the quick dopamine hit when we're like breaking things down and taking our time with things, that's when the real learning happens. And I'm glad that we can do it here in a podcast form with folks from all over the world. So I appreciate you guys for being here, for giving your opinion, and from the outbound logistics to see how both things operate from like the team point of view, and also how the team, how the community like gives suggestions. I would say I've been on several projects, as you know, and there's always a miscommunication somewhere between the audience and the founding members. But here I can say everything works in synergy, and everyone should be proud of that, and say we should be building on that. And that's how we're going to build the utility on the ARK and have a great ecosystem. So I'm looking forward to everything from the public round coming up to all the personal things I have in life. But this thing is kickstarting big time, and to have the drip guys here, to have the different sorts of staking pool guys here, to give us a chance and really learn something is pretty innovative. It's different, and it keeps us going. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, man. Does anyone have a question or a comment at this time? We'd love to hear from you. We're going to mute your mic and ask a question, have a conversation with us.
I just want to make one comment to what Z was mentioning. Just today, Z and some of the advisors were on, and I don't know how well they had been connected before, but we were talking about real world utility and use cases, outside of the crypto space. So in the real world stuff, and we were just firing. It's amazing to see, because this group has all of these different expertises, and they have their own, even some of their own projects that are happening in parallel, and we're all kind of striving towards the same goal. And if we can find those opportunities to to collaborate and work together and partner, that's going to make this so much stronger. So it's the all of the sticks tied together are much stronger than the single stick, right? But what I see happening is everybody's so inspired that those, as he mentioned, those synergies or energies are connecting, and everybody's firing on those cylinders. And it's really cool to see. Just the ideas are flowing, the opportunities are coming. Just because the bear market, I think what's happening right now is we're seeing that these use cases and utilities are going to become very apparent. Before, you could just kind of rest on the speculation of crypto, but we know that those real world use cases need to be there for the long-term sustainability. So those ideas and other projects are surrounding us right now, and we're very open to connecting with those and figuring out how we can add ARK to that equation where possible. in some cases, it might just be investment, because we're close to the team members and we have that kind of that trust and admiration for their teams. But otherwise, it could be, a full-blown integration at some point. So all of those things are in the background and happening. And we have some alpha 2, even on the dev side, that we can't reveal yet, that'll become apparent, at time of launch. So there's a lot of little things that we're forecasting into our roadmap that we may not be explicitly listing on the roadmap, but will become apparent here pretty quickly over time, because we understand the problem. We know that in tight times like this, that having a liquidity crisis is your first and foremost thing to tackle. So how we create those use cases and how we generate that liquidity becomes sort of the mission one. And so that's pulling in those opportunities into a shortened timeline to make sure that we get those into the schedule quickly, and that we execute on those to make sure that we don't wait on them. We're not sitting back and waiting for those things to just kind of materialize because it's such a great time in the market. We don't have to worry about it. But then, so we have the advantage of starting at the bottom, really. And if we can build a solid foundation at the bottom, imagine what will happen once this starts to turn. And if the market can pivot a little in 3 to 6 months, we'll be poised and set with all of the features and pieces in place to experience explosive growth. So I think the timing to me couldn't be better. We're launching before Christmas. If we could hit our December 2nd launch date, then we're not going to be caught up into the Christmas rush, which we had talked about before. That was our goal. We had talked about strategic timing. We knew if we waited until after the new year, it's hard to get people's attention. There's not a lot of companies that start up on January 1st. And being in the business world, I've seen that time and again. It's sort of that planning time when people are making decisions and they're kind of setting their plans in motion for the year. But there's not as much activity that's happening in terms of there's a lot of distractions too. There's not as many individual decisions that are made at that point, investment wise and things like that weren't much different from the year before. So I think that our timing couldn't be better. We might suffer a little bit through this bear market, but as we're a beacon of light in that in that dark tunnel, I think people are going to be attracted to us. And as long as we stay true to our mission and we execute effectively, I think that people will be attracted to us in a way that the rest of the market is repelling them. So we have that going for us. And I think that that's a key difference in this project versus maybe some others.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you on that, Brad. Thank you for adding to it, because look, it's a fantastic time to be here. We couldn't have written the script, I think, any better than the way that things are playing out organically, and that just, I think, verifies and it gives you comfort into understanding that what you're doing is being received and folks are really buying into it.
So the way I kind of, sorry, go on, Neil, my bad.
Oh no, please, you first.
All right. So when we look at like sort of utility and we look into DeFi and when they were built, for me, Yearn Finance is always that sort of beacon to look at when it comes to sort of pools, farms, stakes. And when I look at these projects, they launched in a bear market. They launched in the bear market. They built their infrastructure in those 6 months leading to when things went bullish. That's when they started making their partnerships and started to like build their ecosystem from there. Then they go through sort of a whitwash and price pulls back on the chart 50%. But you want to start off clean in a bear market, because that's when you start off from ground zero. And as you start to build your partnerships, as you start to build your crowd, as you start to build your social media, your Discord, your different channels and networking, That all happens in a bear market. I've never seen it happen where, I mean, we've seen it with a lot of other coins where they come out at the bullish market, they get a 10, 15, maybe 100x, but then they drop down 10, 15, 100x. And that's because they launched at a bull market when things were cherishable. So it's like some folks here are asking about timing, and they're like, is this the right time to launch? I think it's the best time to launch, because then you can build from scratch, and then you have more time towards the bull market to make your partnerships, to let the developing team work their sort of magic, to let the sort of business developers in the business to spread their wings. That all happens when you're at ground zero. And if you launch it at a bull market, then you have the reactions of a bull market. Like when I first came into DeFi, I remember on Uniswap version 1, there was about 50 projects. And those 50 projects now are like the top 10, top 30, top 50 projects on CoinGecko in DeFi. It's because they built their foundations, not in a bullish market when everyone was excited and that's all we could talk about. They built when things were quiet, when there was dust to settle. So that's my opinion on when to launch. But yeah, everyone can have a different opinion. That's what makes us a democracy, a DeFi democracy. But yeah, that's my opinion on launch. I'm looking forward to this week. A lot of things are going to settle. If we look at from a chart, I'm not going to say much on the charts, but yeah, we're at a pullback. We came back to 16, 17K region on Bitcoin, and same with Ethereum, back to 1,300, 1,400. And I think we're going to go into Christmas and hopefully see more bullish events by the end of December to like January time. And if we launch at 1st of December, that's a great time, because then we catch the bullish cycle and build there, and then build momentum from there throughout 2023 and then 2024. So I'm looking forward to the future.
That's great. Thank you for that, Z. And 1 second, we have Harry here. I had a meeting with Harry right before starting the podcast this evening. Are you able to speak, Harry? All right, he might not be able to talk at the moment, and that's fine. But great conversation. First time I met him, he's a friend of one of our great investors here, Mark II. Which, by the way, Mark, we're working on that logo for you. Can't wait to see how it turns out. All right, let's see here. Okay. Is there anybody that has a question or a comment? We'd love to hear from you.
I was a little curious about the auto allocator, or the allocation mechanism there. So once you charge it up and you kind of figure out what ratio from compound to withdrawals that you're gonna be doing, is there any way to switch that? Because I know Brett was saying make sure you're careful, because once you charge that puppy up, it goes into a gas pool. So there's not really, you're not going to get that back. So I'm just wanting to make sure, as I go through with my strategy and stuff, that if I'm testing different things out, I don't, obviously charge that thing up too much and then have to bite the bullet if I want to switch something up or whatnot.
Yeah, that's what you'd want to do, is just set it for a fewer number of days, to a certain schedule, let it run out, and then recharge it, and then, reset the schedule, let it run out. That's the way I would handle it. That way you're not committed to a bunch of B&B gas in there for, something you don't want to continue for a long period of time.
Perfect. That's kind of how I figured it was going to happen, but oops.
Good question. Oh, yeah, Florida Realtor. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're enjoying your Sunday, sir.
Doing great, man. Doing great. Trying to catch some of this and celebrate a birthday family. So kind of back and forth a little bit this evening.
It's your birthday?
It's my wife's birthday.
Oh man! Well, wish her from the ARK family a birthday from us. And glad to hear you guys are having a good time.
Yeah, we are. We're hopping from family's house to family's house. Having a glass of wine here, a glass of wine there, and had some dinner here, some cake there. So making the best of it, man.
Let's go. Make her happy, man. Special
Hell
day.
yeah. Definitely. Appreciate that.
Great to hear. Folks are having a good time. And it's nice to have a birthday on a Sunday. You know, a lot of folks, family members are available, and taking advantage of it that way of going and visiting is a lot easier to do, right, than in a regular work weekday.
That's right. Especially when you don't have to go punch no clock on Mondays, man. It makes it real enjoyable. You know what I mean?
I do, man.
Not wage slavers, you know. I know me. No wage slavers over here.
That's right. And we're going to take a bunch of them and upgrade them, man. Give them that freedom and just have that stability, not having to look at the bill and, how is this going to get paid, and, have to constantly, be looking for additional hustles and ways to get by, because we know that, inflation's taking a hit. We're seeing prices, really change drastically quite fast. So, yeah, we're looking forward to all those folks to come on board and be able to furnish them this opportunity to get that stable, long-term income.
I was dropping some seeds this evening with some family and some friends. So, dropping out those seeds, talking about the ARK, talking about some other things going on. So, striking some interest with everybody. So.
Oh man, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Get this
Happy birthday.
with that.
Happy birthday, realtor, to your wife.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Certainly appreciate that.
Yeah,
So much.
yeah, you're a realtor, right?
I am. Yeah, here in the Gulf Coast, Panhandle of Florida.
Oh wow. Stay safe with all the storms and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we've been very fortunate this year. We're around the Gulf Coast. I'm probably about 15 miles east of Pensacola Beach. So we've really been lucky this year. Everything's been far south of us, Central Florida and way South Florida. So we've been blessed. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of others that has not. So.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's been hammered. It's been hammered. What do you think about the market, like in the next couple quarters? Like you're in the consensus.
So, the market is very. It's hard to read. There's so much instability with the with inflation, with the interest rates. I mean, interest rates have just done a massive decline on the market everywhere. I mean, with the rates climbing. I mean, this time last year, I mean, they've gone up. They've doubled. So that's hurt a whole lot, and people just really don't know where the next dollar is going to come from. So I've seen the market slow down. I mean, I had lunch with a buddy of mine that he's got a local title company. They were closing about 130 properties a month, and they closed like 25 last month. So the market's really died down a lot.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's being felt everywhere. It really is, which.
So do you think
it's everywhere?
So there's definitely going to be a correction. Interest rates are going to stay high for longer than, like I heard Powell wants to continue that longer. So it's not removed as early as it was, I guess, in the 80s. So that's why I'm concerned, because I feel there will be a correction. I'm glad. I mean, I'm good to hear from you. What you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, there will be, but I think it's going to be a lot longer than people expected. I mean, it's going to get closer to 10%, I think, before we see a correction to start going down before it stabilizes. I mean, you just can't, with the inflation going in. That's their card. That's the government's card right now. Raise interest rates up to fight the inflation. As the inflation rises, they're going to keep bumping the interest rates up. So I mean, that's just going to be not a nonstop for a while. So, and there's the good thing though, the interest rates have been so low. So a lot of people right now, they're not fighting those high interest rates. A lot of people who took advantage of some of the low ARM rates, where they're adjustable mortgage rates, they started so low. So they're adjusting now. So it's not like they started at 6%. They started at 2.5%. So there's some time there. So I'm looking at foreclosures to start ticking up end of next year.
Yeah.
So the people
Yeah,
who
yeah.
have cash, now's the time. I mean, this is an opportunity. And if you've got cash to hold on to, because the market does start correcting a little bit, the ones holding the cash is going to scoop up the good deals for rental property and investment property. So, that's always a huge thing, So,
You're saying, hold on, you said 10%? Like
I
10% correction or?
No, I think the rates are going to get up to close to 10% before they start leveling out a little bit. I mean, I think interest rates.
Oh yeah, but the correction is going to be severe, yeah? You think?
Oh yeah, huge.
40%, right? Something like that.
I
Could be.
think so. Yeah, I think so. I do. I mean, every area is affected differently in some different places, but just across the board. I mean, just buckle down. It's going to be a while for sure. No doubt about it. No doubt. And then this is an opportunity now, when I'm talking to real estate friends that just rely on their sales to make a living. This is an opportunity for me to share with them some of these projects, ARK, some other things going on to get some other income come like I've got going on. I mean, I don't have to sell another property to make ends meet. I'm good where I'm at with things, but a lot of people aren't. So these are opportunities now to speak with people to help them out in times like this. So, it's the way I look at it.
And people's equities are depleting, and while their adjustables are now hitting them, right?
Yeah,
when they're
yeah,
just and
yeah, and you can't. A lot of people, they'll take out a HELOC loan, a second mortgage in their home to make ends meet, but with the rates up they are, they can't afford that. So there's not really anywhere they can go to get any income to make ends meet. So there's just not a lot of opportunities out there. So
basically the bigger players are dominant, are going to take over, and then probably convert it to short-term rentals and stuff, do an Airbnb model, more of that kind of stuff. You think, right?
100%. That's exactly what's going on. You'll have these there's hedge funds groups, individual groups that's got deep pockets. They look for opportunities like this that come. They'll buy houses, 60, 70% on the dollar, and they'll turn them into Airbnbs, turn them into investment properties, or they'll just hold on to it, rent them until the market picks back up, and then sell them on that end. So, yep, that works out. It's a cycle.
What do you think about tax liens in this environment? Do you think it's more viable investment vehicle, considering more foreclosures and stuff like that?
You talking about tax liens? For tax liens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are a different animal on that end. Because obviously these municipality services, I mean, they rely on state taxes to make ends meet on that. That's what they budget for. So whenever someone doesn't pay their property taxes, you can go in and you can bid on the tax lien, and if you win the bid, then you hold that tax certificate for that end. If you hold it for a certain length of time and they don't pay it or recover it, then you could actually go in and file for foreclosure on that. So I've done a few of those. I've never had to file foreclose on one, but I have made. You really don't make a whole lot. I mean, maybe 0.5%, but it is, it's a small investment, but you don't make a whole lot of money.
Really, that low? Really, I thought it was more like 10 to 12 you can do, huh?
I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of those on that end. I mean, the majority of them, they buy in bulk. You'll see a lot of big hedge funds, a lot of big corporations. They'll go in, they'll buy a whole bunch of these, and then in hopes that people don't make due on them, and then they'll be able to get the properties and sell them. And if they don't, they get their money back with maybe 1.5% interest at most. There's not a whole lot of money to be making those that I've seen.
I see. That's good perspective. I was thinking about that with a few buddies, but it seemed messy and it was hard to believe the yields. And I'm glad you affirmed that. Speaking of their players dominating like hedge funds, it sounds like they're going to do more longer term investments, wait it out, get it for a fraction of the dollar of each dollar on distressed, sellers, landowner, whatever, and just wait it out, and for appreciation, flip it later or something. Is that kind of where the models? Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what's the setup is for sure. Exactly their plan. Yeah. About back in 2008, 2010, we had the big, huge crash. A lot of foreclosures, a lot of people that get burnt. I know a lot of people that was actually had cash and was able to that scooped up properties and made a killing. And that's kind of where I'm seeing that heading a little bit. Maybe not as bad right now from where we're at, but it's always opportunity for people that's got cash, got deep pockets to come in and scoop up these deals.
It's almost, and another interesting angle is options contracts, where if you speculate on the correction, you could make some. Well, excuse me. That's only if it appreciates, right? So kind of buy it. That would have been before in last cycle, right? Not now when it's going down. No. Can you bet against it? Can you bet on it going down with an option contract?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot of moving parts in that for sure. You'd really have to look at a lot of ways and kind of put the pencil to it to see what kind of works on that for sure.
Excuse me, I was just running my mouth a bit, but it's very good perspective. What do you think about the timeline on the correction? Like all of 23, or it's going to continue to get hammered?
I think all the way through 23, maybe. I don't think we see a correction till probably the last quarter of 2004. On that end, and that just depends on who holds the presidency and kind of where things are going. I mean, I hate that it's to that point, but it is. I mean, the government makes such a big move with different directions, and it plays a big part in it. So, but until the rates start coming down, things just aren't going to happen. That's going to be your indicator. When you see rates start stabilizing, inching down, then that's the time. Then I think we've hit the bottom. That's going to be the big indicator, interest rates, because that's really what slows people down. I mean, people don't want to. I mean, just think about it. If I have a house I'm sitting in right now that I bought a year or two ago, I got my interest rates between 2.5% to maybe 3.5%, which is fantastic. Now rates are 7 to 8% possibly on that end. So if I'm going to sell a house now, I'm selling a house that you're not going to get top dollar for because the market's down. So you're not making as much as you would normally if you just sold 2 years ago. And once you sell your house, you got to buy something else that you're going to have double the interest rate. So it's just not a smart move. So that's really what's suppressing the real estate market right now, because it's just not smart to sell right now unless you just have to.
Right. It's dominated by the fewer bigger players, and for the year or so, I would I've been getting that sense as well.
Yeah.
You've been instead kind of pushing people towards the DeFi space then from that realm. It's very interesting.
I'm all the time. Yeah, I'm talking to people all the time because they're asking me, because I mean I'm smiling and I'm doing great and I'm not on a schedule, and everybody's out beating the streets and stressed out, and I'm not. And they're, what are you doing? What's going on? Your wife must be a doctor or a lawyer or something. I said, no, she don't work. What do you do?
You're hitting the golf course, smiling, and everyone's working their butts off. What the heck are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? The lottery or something. And that's just what I tell them. What I do. And I try to share it with them and show them to them. And some of them kind of get it, and some are still just mind blown. Until like today, and like this whole week with FTX, all that stuff going on, and they're like, oh, I knew it was a big scam, all this cryptocurrency. But that's a whole different animal than what I'm dealing with. DeFi is so much different than what's kind of going on with things. It's affected by it, but it's a different play, a whole different play, from centralized to decentralized. So, and you try to explain that to them and try to, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds right. So, but yeah.
That's right. You have a bigger job and a bigger obstacle because of all the turmoil in the market right now with all these, scandals and collapses. So that's right. A greater challenge for you to recruit or
and
bring
guess
them
where
on board.
All that stemming from, it's all, political, a lot of that FTX stuff. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I know that it was kind of entangled with political scenes and stuff like that. So it all evolves around political and who's in power and stuff as well. Everything kind of does what kind of direction we're going. So it's a huge mess.
For sure. Thank you for your perspective, bro.
Oh man, anytime. Appreciate the questions, and good deal.
Thanks, Florida Realtor. I appreciate that perspective, man. Very insightful, and you got the experience. And guys, these are the folks that we want to have on board, that are experts in their own respective fields, and that we could tap into, have a conversation, and perhaps use that for our own benefit in the real world. I mean, I can only imagine all the things that the folks are investing here at ARK. We talked a little bit about that last night. What their goals are. What they want to invest in to diversify in the future. And actually, me and Brett had a very long talk about that just today, about desertification. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted. Brett, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Some of the ideas that we talked about today for when the folks here become the big whales out in the markets.
Oh yeah. I was trying to figure out what you were talking about, but yeah, we talked about, along with the financial, piece that we're talking about here specifically with ARK, we know that there's other components that go along with that, and just, your lifestyle and what you want to achieve and accomplish. But once you've earned that money, now you want to learn how to protect it, how to scale it, and bringing in pieces to the team and advisors and people that we can have close to us that come on our podcast and share their experience, and really walk our audience and community members through how to set themselves up after they start earning a lot of money in ARK, because there are going to be some people that do extremely well in this protocol. And once they have that, how do you diversify into precious metals, real estate, income generating businesses in the real world? So I think that's a very important piece that we can bring to the community that is probably neglected, or they have to go out and search for that on their own. So bringing that into, the family would be, I think, a very smart thing to do, and also responsible for our community. The other piece of that, we talked about the health and wellness piece. You may want to go into that a little bit more, but bringing in people that can help us, because crypto is just an emotional roller coaster ride. I think I said that earlier, but it's so stressful. And we just saw, the wind taken out of so many people's sails these last few days, despite what was going on here. And I have to kind of step away from the project for a minute to look around, because quite honestly, I just didn't even realize it was getting that to that point for some people. But we hear a lot of people about, that have emotional breakdowns, and, can be suicidal. We know what happened with Luna. So bringing that other element to the team and sharing that with the community, I think, is also very would be very a good piece of the puzzle to have also. So, health and wellness, financial planning for yourself, how to protect your wealth once you've earned it. I think those are valuable things. And what Florida Realtor was talking about, and Nito, being able to have an informed field, when you go into these markets, just makes everything, you're just more calm, relaxed. You don't make emotional decisions. You invest in things that aren't going to create that drama in your life. Like, I was in stables, I don't remember the last time I bought a true crypto. I've been in stables now for over a month. I just knew what was coming and prepared. Didn't need to look at the chart. I haven't even looked at the charts. I just saw like a little alerts on my phone today that the market was getting hit again. Maybe basically a double bottom is what it looked like. But I just emotionally disconnected from it at this point, and hyper focused on ARK and the stability that we can create here. And I think if we get everybody looking in this direction and not at those, green and red candles, an inner peace will come pretty quickly, and you'll make better decisions financially, relationship wise, health wise. All of these things kind of fit together. And so I think that ARK will help a lot of people get away from that emotional roller coaster ride and attach them to something positive, something stable. And then I think it's our responsibility to bring in those other components, have people and coaches and people available on the team to help people through some of those, difficult times, but then also set themselves up for that financial freedom that they may experience because of ARK, and then how to protect that wealth both in crypto, we have access to people that could do that kind of thing, and Z is part of that crew too. But how we protect crypto assets in addition to real world assets. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of, I think, what we talked about. If you want to add anything to that.
Thanks for going deeper into that, Brett. It's extremely important. I mean, what good are we doing to folks to give them this amazing passive income and exponential growth through time, and not provide for them some guidance, opportunities, and advice for them to be able to diversify, and instead of just like, oh, it's a bull market again, I'm going to take it, I'm going to risk it all on red, right? It would be so productive for those folks, and it's not a responsibility per se for us, but I think an action that is coming from a good place to at least provide for them that counseling, consulting, and advisors that they could tap into and do some research here. People with a very long, extensive career and proven record of dealing primarily and exactly now in this market with folks that have had those gains, that have run into a windfall of crypto gains. So Brett's got some folks that we're going to be talking to that are going to be essential, I think, to start getting that information here now, so that folks can start, in a sense, planning. That's very important, because the investment handled correctly, for some folks, if they follow really the guidelines of the system, are exponential. So there comes a point where you're earning so much that you're like, well, what do I do with it now? And that could be dangerous in the hands of a lot of folks that could easily just be, let's say, attracted by a shiny object, or the buddy, oh, let's get into the butthole whatever Inu thing that came out, and you got these bags, and I've seen it happen time and time again with friends. So a bit of social, I think, awareness and understanding psychology, and where folks need to take a step back, do some research, and do some financial planning for the future, for those gains. So just goes to show what we're doing here, really thinking far ahead, thinking a bit outside of the box, and understanding that like Z said earlier, we're all humans. We have different DNA, and we have emotions. We have a lot of dreams that we want to accomplish, and we want to work on that too, for folks to, as they liberate themselves from the cogwheels of the rat race, of the slave wagery, aspects of their current reality, as they're able to shift that with the investment, that they're able to forecast, and they're able to set themselves up and plan to accomplish some of those goals, that they've always wanted to do, that didn't have the opportunity. And part of that is also forecasting your stability, in diversification of your assets. Let's get this crypto. Is there somebody else who would like to ask a question or a comment? We'd love to hear from you this evening.
Hello?
Hey, go right ahead, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I paused so others can ask, that's why.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, sure. I was wondering, maybe it's early, but I'm sure everybody wants to learn about the utilities and what's buttoned down, what kind of deals are inked or being inked, any kind of alpha. I mean, what do we have? 20 something here, maybe? So, yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great to learn that, Can you share more a little bit on utilities coming, partnerships, stuff like that?
I think we've shared more than enough already, and a lot of the other stuff is still in the works, like what we just shared with you tonight. We're not going to name any names, but those are fantastic folks, very reputable. We've talked about the utility too. You spent a lot of time here with us on that. our real world business opportunities, our money operations, our bond trading. A lot of these partnerships that are coming together, we don't want to give exact details and names at this point, as we need to move things further down the line. But as things become available, and as we get closer, and we reach a position of having a contract or having already even verbally an agreement with certain opportunities and folks that we set to partner and we set to create more utility here for everyone. We'll definitely be bringing that on board and sharing it with you guys on an open, transparent basis. That's something that's so important right now, Nito, for transparency. As you can see with everything that's really been happening in the crypto markets, especially this week. So we come from the real world. We understand a mentality of having written contracts and really being able to furnish that and cross on over, take advantage of those opportunities, and let it be a symbiotic relationship where we're able to flow into those opportunities, bring liquidity back here into the whole system, the NFT holders. And I think I've mentioned it a few times already. Our prime directive as we launch is really to get the mobile app into everybody's hands here, so that you guys can go out there and you can be very effective to onboard these folks that need this opportunity, that are looking for that passive income, that are in a way even seeing the news and buying into that narrative. And I think Florida Realtor said it perfectly. Folks are like, "Oh, you're in crypto. Oh, I knew that was a scam. Oh, that's dangerous. And so many people lost money." I mean, they're saying that now. What were they saying, a year ago? What are they saying at the all-time high? How many people made money and were millionaires? It's so funny to see, how the whole news cycle, really affects people's opinions. And one thing I've said as a joke many times, in all the years I've been in crypto, is when you go to a mom and pop shop and the person working the register is talking about buying their Solana or their their XRP, and my friend, that's a time to cash out, pay yourself. Go into that stable and take advantage of the opportunity that the cycle is actually happening. And if you're a good trader, you're actually able to really tap into that. If you just listen, take a step back and look what's happening. And I've seen it time and time again. I have friends that always buy they always buy the top, always, because they, are not folks that are really here in this industry like a lot of us, with their focus, their ear to the ground, seeing what's happening, not on Bloomberg or MSNBC, but really, like Z's a great example of just like everyday understanding, what the true players are doing. You don't hear about that in the major media news cycles, right? So these folks go and buy the top, they panic, they sell, and then, some of them, okay, that's the worst, that was over. I mean, the landlord of my home, it's a perfect example, that the guy, buys the top, panic sells, then it goes on a little bit further, he buys the dip, because James at the water cooler was saying, "Oh my God, we're going to the moon again." No, my friend, that's not the way it works. You're just, getting that dead cat bounce. You're buying in. You're going to panic sell again. You're going to get totally afraid. And that's when you just gave up and you gave them all your tokens. They pump it right in your face. And then you fall again. You buy back in and do it over and over and over again. Come on, guys. Come on now.
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy. It's the same story over and over. Damn.
As far as sharing alpha, that's fine. Whenever you guys, I appreciate all the talk on it before. I I just wasn't sure what is the priorities and how that would come out, but I'm sure it'll be mentioned when you solidify all those partnerships, concretely.
I can give you, maybe what will help, Nito, is I can give you an idea of kind of what our mindset is around some of these strategic partnerships, and I'll keep out the stuff that Atlas has really talked about at length regarding the external investments. Some of them have some ties into this, but I'm not going to reveal any names or anything. But the way that we look at the mobile app is the mobile app really becomes your crypto investment bank. And if you can imagine that when you open that app, you'll have access to ArkFi and the related products to ArkFi. And then as we expand the product portfolio, there'll be other opportunities in there for Ark Utility. Now, some of those we are going to look at partnering to go faster. So these might be other applications that are available that could have an Ark component, or they're things that we may organically build just ourselves. I would prefer to take best of breed products and integrate those into the app. And the reason why we're looking at it that way is that we want to cover a wide range of investment opportunities for the user and the application. If we just kept it focused on Ark and the Ark Vault, the foundation, legacy NFTs, we would limit the audience. So you imagine somebody's bringing fiat in to crypto. It's being stored and displayed on the application, and then they have an investment portfolio there. They might have a savings account, if you want to call it that, which is basically like a crypto holding account, probably in stables. And then they might have a low yield type investment opportunity that's going to be more like a low yield CD or something they're familiar with from the real world, maybe a 30-40% APY type opportunity that is liquid to some degree, but still yields something. And then they're going to have their more aggressive DeFi high yield opportunities like our products. And then we're looking at how do we round out that portfolio. Are there partners that we know, like, and respect that we have an immediate opportunity with to start those discussions and prepare for when that application is available? We'll be able to plug those in, and some of them might even be on our DApp, depending on how we handle those relationships. So those are the strategic partnerships that we're looking at specifically for the DeFi yield space, and rounding out our portfolio so that we can offer more through that application and really put it in the hands of people that have different appetites. They have different, investment strategies, different risk appetites, because we know our little niche here and our little product niche isn't for everyone, and it's also difficult for people to make that leap. So if we can give them an option to move into a more real world TradFi type investment, where maybe they're getting the 30-40% APY, but then they learn about these other opportunities. And if you can imagine, on the application, they'll have a little pie chart that shows them, I have this much in this product and this much in that product, and I can switch wallets inside the application and see the portfolio of that wallet. And so just to give you an idea of the vision that we have for this, it's not all just about Ark. We're looking at strategic partners that are next to us in this space. I'll just say that. And then we're looking at ones that we can use to enhance the utility of Ark, because we know that, we don't want tokens being, held out in wallets or, being sold, at a very high rate. So we want to give people an excuse to have a secondary investment for Ark that may not be, the high yield application that they're used to with the vault, but could be another one that they feel more safe and comfortable being in for a long-term hold. So that's kind of the mindset that we have going into that application. Once we have that platform, obviously lending, payments, sort of TradFi kind of stuff, but crypto lending specifically is interesting to us. So that'll give you an idea of kind of from a product perspective or a high level product strategy, what we're looking to do with that mobile application. So It's not 100% about ARK, but it does build use cases into ARK. And those are some of the revenue streams that we'll also bring to the table. The cross-chain partnerships could definitely be something that we fold into that app. We have very large friends in other layer ones that Atlas has relationships with that have groups of investors that dwarf what we have here. So yeah, we have kind of a roadmap laid out for that, and I'm formalizing that. And I mentioned we were working on some partnership stuff today and having some conversations, and they're surrounding that, preparing for that mobile app, preparing for a more diverse investment opportunity portfolio for our community. And yeah, that's kind of the path we're taking.
Okay, that was lovely. That was wonderful color. I appreciate that, bro. One thing that jumps out is that going to require KYC? And also, you mentioned it's going to use Switch wallets, so that means the users are going to still need to set up a MetaMask or something like that, right?
Atlas, do you want to describe that a little better?
Sure. No, you're not going to need to do KYC. And for the mobile app, what we're doing, Nato, is we're going to use Wallet Connect. So the investor can go with Trust Wallet or SafePal or MetaMask, whichever one they prefer. We're not in the business, at least at this point, of being a custodian of investors' assets on wallets. That is a very extensive process of auditing that has to take place. As DeFi wallets, the systems and the way that they're set up, the folks that are running it, they cannot have access to your private keys. If they did, then they would not be secure, right? So there's a whole amount of work, and it's many months to be able to set yourself up with a secure DeFi wallet that's completely audited, but not by just one firm, but several, in order to furnish the investor the comfort level and the confidence that what you're providing them is absolutely secure in every way, shape, or form. And also there's legal components to that. So it would be an external wallet that would actually be the investor's crypto wallet. Our mobile application is really going to be the interface to connect to the D app and be able to manage in a very simple to use, very sophisticated user interface that's intuitive, that folks are going to be able to interact with. And, obviously the easier, the less buttons, the better. So, those are the things that we're working on here to make sure that it has that ease of use in order to really penetrate and thrive and grow exponentially in the mass market, right? Whether, they're grandmothers or, whether they're young teenagers that are looking for, getting passive income and maybe not working at, Pizza Hut or whatever it might be. They'll be able to really take advantage of that application and use it to invest and invite their friends.
Yeah, no, that's great. And this is a great evolution from what I've observed from the market, from our daily ROI, the apps and stuff in terms from the beginning. So I like that. I like that transition. I personally don't favor mobile because of security, but for mass market, yeah, that's great. And also on ramping, I'm assuming you'll have connectivity with banking. Maybe there's a interface to on ramp that way with the mobile side. So yeah, that's great. Sounds great. Trying to think.
We see we got Jigsaw here in the house. Welcome, Jigsaw. Happy to have you here this evening, joining us on the podcast. Hope you're doing well. Enjoying your Sunday, my friend.
Hey, boss. How you doing? Hope you're all doing all right tonight.
Wonderful, man. Happy to be here doing this podcast, answering questions, hearing from our investors, learning too. We had a lot of information that the Florida realtor, who's an investor here, part of the ARK family, was really dropping some knowledge and some wisdom from his experience in the markets and forecasting from his point of view. So really informative, man. I know I was taking notes.
Sure. That's good. That sounds good. Sorry I wasn't able to join earlier, but I'll make sure to listen to the AMA that will be pinned later. Thank you, man.
Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure to have you on board, man.
Thanks.
All right. Is there somebody else that might have a question or a comment before we go to Nito? And thanks, Nito, for giving space for the other folks to participate. It's really important for us that as we have these conversations, as we expand and we go in more detail, we look under the hood, we also take into consideration that maybe somebody just joined or they put the kids to sleep, and this is the exact time that they're able to come and ask us a question. So thanks again, Nito, for taking that into consideration and being polite. Crypto Ayo, glad to have you here, sir. Thanks for joining us here on the podcast this evening.
It's a pleasure.
Enjoying your Sunday, my friend? Not sure if he heard me. Are there any other questions or comments? We'd love to hear from you guys.
Well, I heard you. It's a pleasure being here with you guys. I've been listening. I hear great stuff going on.
Thank you. Thank you for that. How do I say your name correctly? Is it Crypto Ayo or Crypto with Ayo? Could you help me out?
It's Ayo. It means joy. I'm Nigerian, it means joy, but people say Ayo. It doesn't matter as long as it's right. Numbers don't, as long as the numbers equal, you can call me whatever. But yes, I've been listening, and I am part of the drip community, and I noticed that there's a lot of people, other associates in here, and I like the part that you're learning from other protocols and you're adding to it. And I actually like the situation of once they get the NFT, everything goes into the false. It gets staked. I like that, because a lot of people do a lot of funny things. So they got me kind of motivated that I want one. Now I have to fight the crowd.
Man, great to have you here representing Nigeria. I don't know if you've heard of the upgrade to the system that was made yesterday during the developer meeting. Did you hear about it before I bring Brett on to bring the good news to you? Have you heard about the upgrade?
I was in here listening to you yesterday, but if you want to go ahead, touch base on it for other people that haven't, or if I'm not, I don't want to speak too much, but I know that now. The last thing I heard was from the upgrade, I apologize, was it does have to go in, and then they have a 200 limit every day to sell, and as far as transfer, something about a 50% if they're not staked. I heard certain things, but I will let you touch base on it because you can put it in an order that can help everybody, and I can soak up some of this knowledge. So go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much, man. What a pleasure to have you on and interact here with us. And I congratulate you for staying tuned and as we get closer, having these updates and sharing this information with you guys. Look, our goal while we do this here every evening, recording these podcasts, understanding that not everyone has the opportunity to be here live with us while we do the podcast and they listen later. It's an incredible tool, and I'm just happy to see that the folks that aren't coming, that can't get here because of the hour and so forth, they are actually listening later. And again, congratulations for staying up to date. Brett, you want to come and expand on it a little bit? I think the more times we really talk about it, the community is just receiving it and being able to also, very importantly, relate that to their other friends that are investors as well, and have really all of the details in order to explain it right.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So just like the pre-sale NFTs, where when you go to claim the pre-sale NFT, the ARK is going to be automatically deposited into your ARK Vault account. We're making that true for all purchases of ARK as well. So when you go to our swap page and you purchase ARK with BUSD, BNB, it will get deposited automatically into your ARK Vault account. So that prevents any tokens from being held in wallets, later dumped, any other kind of Mickey Mouse bot attacks, whatever else can go on that we've seen in the space. It just kind of eliminates all of that possibilities for that dumping that can happen at any time in a project. So the other thing we should mention about that is that now that all of the tokens are going to be in vault accounts, they can only be earned out at your daily ROI percentage. So once you have those tokens in your wallet and they've been withdrawn, then you can go ahead and either redeposit them if you'd like to increase your principal balance of your ARK Vault account. You can sell them, as Ayo said, up to 200 per day is the sell cap right now. And then the other option is you could transfer them to another wallet, but you have to be careful, as he mentioned, if that wallet doesn't have an ARK Vault account and you go to try to sell those tokens, you could get hit with an additional 50% dump tax. So we've kind of put up some, I think, great protections for the community who are here for the right reasons to generate a passive income, play the game how they see fit and based on their financial situation. And I think it's a great security measure for the team as well, because we don't want to be up at night worrying about something funny happening, or are the whales going to dump, and all these other concerns that a lot of other communities might have and that we're seeing. And we're all drip investors, we're all Furio investors. We've kind of seen it all, and we've taken to heart a lot of the advice and expertise of other investors as well, that like a lot of things about certain protocols, and then they dislike certain things. So we've tried to incorporate a lot of those things and then bring some new features to the game to handle some of the situations that we've seen other projects struggle with.
I like that. It's actually very bullish. And as far as sorry, being updated more, is just I like everything that I'm hearing. Now it's just a matter of November 18th coming along.
Glad you're excited about that. Good to have you on. And I think I've seen you in the chat as well. So appreciate your comments and hanging out.
I've been in there, definitely. What I am curious about is, will there be something like a timer to let us know? Because, there's different time zones, so we can know how many hours till we have to get there. And okay, yes, I had another question. As far as depositing in, do we need a buddy address to be able to buy the NFT, or you can just openly just purchase it?
Yeah, let me answer the countdown question. So we typically have a timer on the pre-sale page that'll count down for you. We also make hourly announcements. I think we did the last time we did hourly. So 20 hours, 19, 18, all the way down. We had little banners that we show in the Telegram group. So if you're kind of glued into that or checking into that every once in a while, you'll be able to catch it. And then to answer the other question, you don't necessarily have to have a referral address. If you leave it blank, you'll be assigned to the Guardian wallet, which is basically the top level wallet, like the dev wallet. But we do encourage, if you want to join a team or you have your own team, then obviously you probably have a strategy for having a team wallet and potentially using that address. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to have a referral address to purchase the pre-sale NFT. If you haven't interacted with the app before, you can approve BUSD ahead of time, so that if you want to be a little faster on the draw when the pre-sale goes live, you'll have that first approval out of the way, so that you can immediately go to the purchase process.
Yes, that was going to be my next question because I tried to interact with the contract yesterday, but I believe it was showing the pre-sale or the sale from the last, NFT. So I was not able to interact with it, or maybe it was the link that I clicked that took me to the previous one.
Oh, it could have. It should be all locked up right now. So because it's closed, the next one, when it opens on Friday, you'll be able to interact with. So
Yes. I guess what I was trying to say was I wanted to interact with it and approve the BUSD before then. Would I be able to, or I have to wait till Friday?
Yeah, I think we've disabled it at the moment, but we will give you a chance prior to approve BUSD. We did that the last round as well. After the approval of the BSD, some people, because they were waiting for so long, had to refresh the page. So that might be something to consider. But yeah, do you remember, Atlas, how much time before we allowed to interact with the DApp and approve BSD? Do you recall? I can't remember.
I think it's already that way, from my understanding, already. If we've already put that out, because it was done, I think maybe 12, 24 hours before last time for our public round one. So we'd have to check. Good. Yeah.
That's good to know because I'm new to DeFi. So I've been watching a lot of videos online. So I was going to go to the contract and try to interact with it myself because, practice makes perfect.
It sure does, man. and man, you sound like you're so focused and wanting to really understand everything and excited about the project. I feel that enthusiasm, and it's good to be prepared. When we're late for the last minute, that's where mistakes happen, and very important to make sure if you do have a team wallet that you can also paste that ahead of time and get yourself in a position to seize the moment, as we know the demand's pretty high. I wanted to Brett, since we touched on, he asked a question about, if you did go to the Guardian wallet instead of a team, could you maybe break down a little bit what are the pros and cons for investors regarding their strategy? What happens for the folks that are just going to be directly under Guardian?
Yeah, I mean, it's some people want to be part of a team because there's maybe a micro community, kind of a spin out from our official channel here on Telegram. Obviously you could build your own ARK channel on Telegram as well and bring people in that way. But yeah, there'll be other subgroups out on Telegram for support and just people like sometimes more a like-minded community instead of the big groups. Where they can ask different questions, or maybe they feel more comfortable being part of that team. And then also, if you're part of a team, you could benefit from airdrops, or maybe they run promotions, maybe they do their own kind of marketing that you like to do and participate in. So I think being part of a team has kind of been a thing. I was part of Team Cryptozoa over in Drip. I don't know if you know the Cryptozoans, but because I was into writing articles and what those guys were up to. And learning from them and being able to expand into other projects as they progressed in their DeFi understanding and investment strategy. So yeah, being part of a team can have a lot of different benefits. But underneath the Guardian wallet, there's no disadvantage to it. But I think you would miss out on being part of a team, potentially getting some airdrops and having a tighter knit community that you can interact and learn from.
Now, if folks are going into the Guardian wallet, with those deposits and compound, could you maybe explain a bit how that is sustainable and helps the overall system liquidity? Do you want to go a little bit into that detail?
Sure. Yeah. Some of those taxes or those deposit rewards and compounds would then feed into the Guardian wallet, which is helpful in that everything that's in the Guardian wallet stays in the tax vault. So that helps the protocol in terms of sustainability. When the tax vault pays out, there's more ARK tokens in there to give people that ability to withdraw without the contract minting. So, but minting isn't necessarily a negative thing. We've seen drip mint. It's a part of the sustainability, and that we can always guarantee that when you go to withdraw from the ARK vault, that you will always have tokens available. And as long as there's use cases and utilities where it's driving demand, I could see a situation for us even, if the demand is that high at launch, we could, drain all of the ARK out of our liquidity pools pretty quickly. So that would be a situation where we would mint to allow more people into the ARK vault. But because we're depositing all of those ARK tokens into the ARK vault, those tokens aren't going to be out in anyone's wallets. So minting, in our situation specifically, isn't a bad thing. It just shows ecosystem demand. It shows ecosystem growth. When we have future partnerships and utilities added to the token, I have no question that we are going to mint. We might mint sooner than we expect simply because of the demand for the token. So our tokenomics are different. Our mechanics are different. And I think people, as they kind of grow to understand how this is all going to work, they'll see minting as a positive thing, because that means we're following our roadmap, we're hitting our goals, we're expanding the user base. If we have a goal of taking ourselves to 1 million users on the mobile app, we'll need a lot more tokens at one point or another. So we wouldn't be able to scale and have sustainability without the minting feature. So I know I kind of went off a tangent there, but the role of the Guardian is to protect those vault taxes. By going underneath the Guardian wallet, you're helping feed and support that. But keep in mind, we will, if we are successful, have minting events that happen. As there's growth opportunities and things, we'll need more tokens. So that's kind of that in a nutshell. Did you have any other questions about that?
No, and I'm glad you expand on it. As we see, there's a lot of folks on the chat that have asked that repeatedly, and I think here on this podcast to go into more detail. So also our admins and moderators understand the full depth of how everything's coming together. They'll be better suited to answer that question, as some folks don't have a team, or they're playing a strategy with several multi-wallet understandings and organizations. So thank you for that, Brett. And Mr. Crypto IO, do you have any further questions? Those were some really good ones. Do you have anything else you'd like to ask us this evening?
No, I'm here listening and enjoying the conversation.
Fantastic. We really appreciate you participating, and man, I feel that enthusiasm. I hope that you come on this journey and grow and thrive here with everything that we're doing. That you've taken the time. It's obvious you've taken the time to really do your research. It's so important to conduct that, do the due diligence, and in that we're seeing that folks are really understanding what makes ARK stand out, what is different about what we've built here, and going forward, all of the benefits and opportunities for our investors to join and grow and expand their networks. There is no limit to really what each individual is able to accomplish here. There's a lot in store. So I'll be keeping an eye out for you. That we're always here to answer any questions, and I do really appreciate your participation. This is what it's about, guys, to have these conversations, answer the questions, update all of you as we get closer to launch on December 2nd. Let's get this crypto, guys. Oh, we have a special guest. I'm going to introduce Z. Are you there?
They going, people.
Good. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that you were here and listening. Let me see if I can help, because he hasn't used Telegram. Brett, we have Coach Roberto, the happy coach I was telling you about, the breathing master, the Zen.
Yeah.
here with us.
We were just talking about that too, with the health aspects, and one of the people that I know you admire the most in that space, and somebody that could help everyone, is Roberto. So yeah, welcome.
Welcome.
Hey, go ahead.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm just listening today, getting the feel what you guys are up to.
Great things, man. Great things. Scott, happy to have you here. And, I'm going to introduce you with, a bit of my short version, and then maybe I'll let you in a little bit, maybe talk a little bit about yourself. But Coach Roberto is somebody I met many, many years ago. And he definitely helped me shift with a lot of meditation and visualization. In the past couple of years, he's gotten really into the whole breathing movement, and has worked with some masters, in particular Dan Brule, who, for those of you who don't know who Dan is, he is Tony Robbins' coach. So the ultimate coach's coach. And I think most of you probably know who Tony Robbins is. So he's tapped into really the source of incredible, potential that we can have. I know very popular, a lot of folks in DeFi that I've met are really into like Wim Hof, which is fantastic. But, there's so much more if you want to go deeper and understand, really, really intense breath work. And somebody I look up to, I brought him to a lot of my projects and teams to really bring everyone on my team together with a common vision, which is very important when you're trying to do these startups and build fantastic, profitable and successful businesses. So we've had a long journey together. I told him yesterday about ARK. I've been so busy. I mean, I can't even sign my 73-year-old dad up to the system, as I don't have the time to hold his hand, as there's so much work that has to happen here for all the investors, for everything that we're building. And that's part two. I told Coach, hey, we're going to put you with somebody here. We got a staff that's going to be able to explain the investment, explain to you how to operate MetaMask, and also be able to share it with his client. He has an impressive list of folks that he works with, that he's worked with in the past as well. So glad to have you here, Coach. Maybe you want to say a couple of words. I already said a lot about you, but maybe you want to talk a little bit, introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm here. So my whole thing is shifting your breath so you can shift your reality. And I spent the last 30 years diving deep into the breath world, into the breath medicine, into the plant medicine world to support myself. I'm in what I call the third quarter. So I've kind of broken life into 4 quarters. The first quarter is 1 to 25, then 25 to 50, 50 to 75, and then 75 to 100. So I'm going to be 71 years old. So I'm ending the third quarter, and my whole goal is to be either tied or winning in the last quarter, so I can go into overtime. And I think I can do that through mastering the breath continuously. And from an investor point of view, what the breath can help you is to really get clear, because you can use the breath to release stress, anxiety, pain, release negative thoughts. And so if you can connect to your true self, to the energy within you, you'll be able to really be clear, quieter, more creative. You'll be able to feel your choices. And I think it'll just support you in whatever you're up to and whatever goals that you're trying to manifest. So if you want to shift your reality, I always say you have to shift your breath and your breath patterns. Like I would say 85 to 95% of us are breathing incorrectly. So we're not breathing fully. So we're not properly bringing in the proper oxygen into our system. So that, eventually that'll bring it'll have you be, like your body will become sick. You'll make the wrong decisions. You won't create your reality. So that's basically it. In terms of I'm available just to support people in whatever way is possible. I'm actually transcending from a happy coach to a happy breath, and because it's not me that is creating the results, it's the breath, it's the spirit. When you fully breathe, like if you fully breathe correctly, you're starting to bring life energy into your body, and that'll
Go ahead.
yeah, and that'll support you in. That's really what you want to do. It's connect to your real self, and then play your game from that space. So when people ask me, what I do is I guide people to breathe their way back to happiness, so you can play a life or a business game that is worth playing.
Let's go, coach, man. I love it, man. What a great way to understand. And man, I know I've been a person that's practiced that and experienced that with you, and I've seen the shifts. We've taken on clients together. Our last big one was an NBA player that totally shifted. Could you tell us maybe a little bit more about some of your clients and maybe a testimony or one or two people that came with a lot of stress, oppression, and the reason I asked that, just to show you where I'm coming from. The crypto markets have taken a tumble, man. A lot of these guys are traders. They've been stressed out, going through the emotions, the guilt, all the stuff, and when you're operating in that fear, right? When you're letting that take over, like you just said, mistakes happen, and you don't make the right decisions. You don't clear your mind. You don't really disconnect and connect to your goal and your vision, and operate off of the fear. If you can give some examples that could help some of these guys understand the shift.
Okay, well, let's see, where do I start? I've supported more than 50,000 people to be able to shift their consciousness, including going to Cuba, where I was born after 40 years of not being there. And I have more than 25,000 people that directly have done breath with me, where they're living in an environment that is not free, and there's a lot of pain. And I've been able to help shift consciousness, because if you want to shift your results, we tend to start looking at what we do and what we know, but we need to go deeper. We have to shift our consciousness to be able to shift our reality. And so, I've had people that lost $60 million, and they were this guy was in the real estate business in Miami. He lost it all, and then the whole thing with him was being able to get him to clear himself through the breath, so he can connect to being in the present moment, totally free of what happened, and be able to create a new future, or recreate what he had created in the past.
You're talking about Carlos?
Yeah, I'm talking about Carlos. And and that was difficult. Like, I don't know if everybody here has lost $60 million, but he did, and he's living life now. Like, he's creating a whole new life. For him, it's not about money. It's about just living free, and now he's recreating his money. So the idea is to be able to clear your mind, quiet your mind, So you can create something new coming from a future that there's no future, there's nothing there. That's like in the crypto world, it's like that's what's happening, right? It's like a lot of people are just creating from nothing, creating something new and manifesting that, and then moving into it, but coming from a clear space. And to do that, you have to be able to quiet the mind. So if I give you a tip right now, the 3 skills is awareness. It's like right now, if I asked everybody, are you breathing? What would be the answer?
I think yes.
Everybody's breathing, right? You're alive. But
Yeah.
why would I tell you that you're not breathing? That the breath is breathing you? Because you're not aware of it. So the first thing is to become aware that the breath is really breathing you. And then the more you can become aware of your breath, the more you become aware of your body. The more you become aware of your body, the more you become aware of your mind. The more you can become aware of your mind, the more you become aware of your thoughts. The more you become aware of your thoughts, the more you can, be able to just let them go or shift them. And the more you become aware of the breath, the more you become aware of your environment, of the people that are surrounding you, the people you do business with. And the more you feel. Then the second skill is letting go. And the way to let go is to relax. So you relax through the exhale. So like really being able to focus on the exhale and letting go. So when you inhale, you take a deep breath through the nose, then you let it go. It's like a sigh of relief. Like if all of a sudden you make an investment and everything is going good, you go, thank God, that's working.
Yeah. We're actually talking with Brett Norris here, part of my team, and we work close together every day. He's engineer really of our system, and he exercises a lot. He's a vegan. He's a man that really takes care of his health and his mind. And we're talking about the breath because he does some breath work. I'll introduce him. Brett, come and say hi to the coach. And he was telling me about that. A part of him going and working out and going on these trails is for the breath. He totally gets it. You want to talk a little bit about that with Coach Brett?
Oh yeah. So I was just telling Atlas that I don't have as much time because I have family, and since we started this crypto project, I've been working 12, 14-hour days. So it's been harder for me. I typically work out. I usually hike with my dog for up to an hour or so in the morning, and then I'll usually go to the gym and I work out, and I do more high intensity interval training. So it's all about breath. It's all about recovering. And so you have to be very conscious of how you're breathing through those exercises, because you don't want to hold that all in. Yeah. And so over the years, I've kind of gotten better at it. I was terrible at it at first. And when I was in the corporate world, I remember when I used to take a breath, I would have that hesitation. Like, I don't know I don't know how to describe it, but like if you take a deep breath and then you're like, you feel like you can't take a full breath. It hesitates on the way in. I had all of that pent up, tension and stress in my body. Since I've left the corporate world, I've changed my life entirely as far as my relationships, my work, my exercise, my diet, everything. I've shifted completely the other direction. I wasn't balanced. Let's put it that way. I knew it. But now that I find myself kind of working hard again, it feels good, but I have to be very conscious of sitting at the computer too long and not breathing. I find that I'm holding my breath again. So do you have any advice or maybe some simple things that I can do while I am at my computer and not, not able to spend, 15, 20, 30 minutes of just straight breath work? Is there something that I could do consciously just while I'm sitting there to help?
Yeah, absolutely. Like most people say, I don't have time to breathe, right? And I go, you're breathing. So now all you have to, like what I like that what you were saying is that you're conscious that you're not practicing, right? Or so all you have to do is become conscious of that you're not breathing consciously, and then do some simple techniques. So and do it while you work. What I tell people is when they learn at least one breath technique that they can do, that they like, right? And then be able to practice it minimum 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes midday, 5 minutes at night. If you want to master it, it's 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and 10 minutes. And if you want to be a guru about it, it's 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and 10 times during the day for 2 minutes. And because that's going to force you to stop for 2 minutes and just breathe and get present. And
I think I could do that actually. And I think I need to do that, especially now since we're so hyper focused on this project. I feel I have to stop and disconnect. I was telling Atlas the other day, I said, I'd say the first week. So it was after the first private pre-sale. We were all just like head down, just crushing it. And I stopped eating. I just didn't, like, I was like, man, I didn't even eat today, and it was like 3:00. And I was like, shoot. And normally I'm very ritualistic about my schedule, what I eat, how often, how much I eat. I kind of eat throughout the day, a lot of raw, vegetables and fruits and things like that. But I found that I was just kind of skipping those, or going and getting something from the grocery store to make quickly or whatever. And I said, wow, I've got to really break that cycle back, because I missed, working out every day and doing, breathing things, hiking, doing those things again. So I was kind of out of balance again. So I kind of started that back up last week. I was like, you know what? I've got to just take that break and go take care of myself, because I'm just going to end up in a state of mind where I can't perform, where I can't make good decisions for everyone and for the project. So that's great advice. I'd love to explore that more with you.
And I have some breathing techniques that are very powerful that you can do in 2 minutes, and it'll help you clear, get present, release anything that's showing up in your body or in your mind, so you can clear and be more productive.
Can you show us now? So you got something to do tomorrow? Great. Go ahead.
So my favorite breath is what I call the 20 breath technique, and everybody can practice it. There's many ways of doing it, but it's four breaths of 5. So it's 4 short breaths that are circular. Okay, so you don't hold and inhale and exhale, and it sounds like this when you inhale through the mouth and you exhale through the mouth. And I'll do 1 set, but we're going to do 4 sets of 5, which gives you 20. But this is the way it sounds. Then the 5th one, you take it in deep, and you let it go. So is everybody sitting or lying down?
Let's go. Yes.
So we're gonna do 2. We're gonna do 2 sets. We're gonna do 1 in through the nose and out the nose, and 1 through the mouth and out the mouth. But there's many other ways of also doing it. Okay, so let's start with the mouth, which is easier, and we're working more in our body channels. Okay, so let's get it started, and we can do this really fast during the day to get some energy going, or at night you can do it really slow to calm yourself down and be able to relax. So here we go. Is everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First set. Inhale. 3, 4, and then take the 5th one in deep. Then let go. Pause. Second set. Inhale. Exhale. The 5th one, taking in deep. Relax it. Exhale. Ready? Third set. Take it in deep. And then in the last set, here we go. Take it in deep and hold. Inhale. Hold it. Close your eyes. Relax your shoulders. Relax your body. Relax your mind. And if you have to breathe, let it go. If not, hold it for a little longer. And when you're ready, release it. Let it go. And close your eyes. Notice how you're feeling. Notice any body sensation, any emotions, any heaviness. Maybe some of you that don't breathe a lot might feel a little dizzy, little tingling. And just notice, just be the observer. There's nothing else to do. When you're ready, open your eyes. How was that?
Oh man, that was what.
Was that good?
Yeah. What about you, Brett?
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so if you want, we can do this now, the same thing, but in and out the nose. So you see the difference. It's different channels. And then eventually you can, just do, you can do this. I do this when I wake up, you're having coffee or, you're taking a break, or if you're sitting in front of the computer, you can do this, like at the beginning of every hour, that'll be your 10 times during the day. Do like 2 or 3 sets of 5, that'll get you like, 2 minutes. But so if you want, we can try it through the nose also.
Yeah, let's do it. Zia, you doing it for us?
Ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Atlas? So
Yes,
here
sir.
we go. Okay, first set. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Inhale 3. Inhale 4. Then inhale 5. Take it deep. And don't worry if you can take it deep. So second set. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale 4. Then inhale 5, taking in deep. Let it go. Pause. Keep relaxing. Third set. 2, 3, 4, taking in deep. Now the last set. Here we go. Take it in deep 5 and pause. Hold it. Don't force it. Just relax. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Just be with the pause. Notice the energy. Be in the silence. And when you're ready, let it go. Open your eyes. There you go.
Thank you, man. That was awesome.
And there's more, and I teach people how to be able to relax. I don't know if some of you had difficulty bringing it in, and you can, then learning about the 3 spaces where to breathe into, and then the different speeds that you can use it depending if you need to move the energy, if you need to be more sympathetic or more parasympathetic. Usually when you're investing, I'm sure your sympathetic system, your nervous system is really like in either flight or in fear, and you want to balance it. So you have to be able to relax the breath more. So when you do that, you have to go low and slow, which is breathing more into the belly.
Ed, I had one question, Roberto.
What's that?
I had one
Mhm.
question. When I was
Sure.
first learning about breathing and breath work and things, someone was telling me about how the priests, I believe, used to breathe, but they used to put the tip of their tongue on the roof of their mouth,
Yes.
and it created a vortex or some kind of turbulence that would energize the air, the inflow. Do you have any comments about that? Is that another technique, or is that just
That's different. That's different. There's a lot of different techniques. Usually when you put your tongue against well, what I do is if you're like angry or something and you want to release that anger, I would put my tongue over your teeth, either your upper teeth or bottom teeth, and do the 20 breath techniques through the nose. And you're going to see that anger reduce.
excellent? Thank you very much. That was
Okay.
great. Appreciate the session there. That was cool.
All right. You're welcome.
Thanks for being here, Coach. And we'll look forward to having you on, man. We're working so hard and so focused at it, man. It's nice to come and have you come and share here with the team. And we're gonna be doing, as I told you, some stuff here with the team, the developers, and everything. Everybody in that team vision of everything that we're creating and building here. Yeah. So looking forward to working with you.
Yeah, you to support you in what you're up to, because it really balances your physical, your mental, your spiritual, your psychological system, and the more that's balanced, the better decisions you make, the more energy you have, the clearer you are, and things start coming to you, and you make better choices.
Yeah, absolutely. Z, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how you doing, sir? That was an awesome session, and I feel really enlightened. I had a good breathing session, and just a little background. I used to do Raja and Pranayama yoga.
Okay, great.
In London, and it used to leave me full of energy. And I just like to say a little word for people that don't understand Raja. This is pretty cool. It's a small sentence here. So it goes. Raja Yoga means to slow down the chaos of the mind so much that for an extended period of time, there's only one continuous thought. This leads to total absorption in the nature of reality known as samadhi. So when you take long pauses and you sort of become one, that's what you're really doing. You're taking total absorption of the present. And I think that's something we kind of miss in the trading world and the crypto world, and also people that smoke a ton of cigars.
Well, that's why they smoke cigars. It's to be able to relax, right? So so it's like replacing, instead of smoking the cigar, you smoke it if you have to, right? But like try to learn a breathing technique that when you have that urge, that you breathe first, and perhaps you won't need to smoke.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was doing Raja Yoga, I was doing this 3 hours a day, like throughout the day, just like simultaneous times. What I would find is my smoking went down from, you can say, 15 to 20 a day down to 3. So I'd have one after a meal, and I'd enjoy the quality of it. And I think it's the same thing with cigars.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, so if whatever you do, just do it consciously and enjoy it. Even if it's bad, do it consciously.
I like that.
Yeah. So this is great. It's great to be here and doing some breathing. That's awesome that everybody's playing.
Coach, do you work with leverage traders, people that take high risk?
Was that again?
Do you work with traders that take high risk leverage traders, bankers?
I have, but I can work. I work. Like right now, I'm working with somebody that is handling some major international Latin American money. With people with a lot of money, and he's breathing with me every day, not every day, once a week, to really be able to get clear and calmer. And with like with traders are doing it every day. It's a matter of like being able to be calm and using the breath to be clear and be able to shift it if something's going wrong, and if it's going right, is to be present and be able to balance the energy during the day. So it's a matter of learning different, some breathing. It's basically taking the breath that you're learning there, but going deeper into it and using that breath differently and breathing either through the nose or the mouth, depending to be able to, depending on how you're breathing now. I need to find out when I take on a client, if you know how you're breathing, the level of experience you have. 95% of the people are breathing incorrectly or not breathing at all. They're really stuck, and it'd be real hard for them to inhale different way, like a certain way. So I had to like get people. I have to look at them and then help them. Okay, you're breathing in your chest. You're not breathing in your belly or whatever it is, and then start you different ways, so you can eventually release whatever's stopping you from not breathing fully, and then supporting you in doing that. And then from there, creating a program so you can be more effective, so you can attain peak performance or optimum health, or like really like unlock your full potential through the breath. And that's one way. You can take the breath can also take you in a journey that you've never been, in a spiritual journey where you kind of like transcend the ego, and then once you connect to that space, you're in total bliss, and that's when everything starts working.
That's an amazing advice, and I would say breathing can also help the way we sort of digest our food as well. I think what happens is when we have dinner and we eat everything in 5 bites, in a couple of minutes, the body needs to be, needs the chewing to take place. So we have to chew our food, I think 25 to 30 times, and that's really hard for folks. Right?
That's good. My grandfather used to say 35 times. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the breath is good for everything. I usually say is for peak performance, optimum health, which includes, like when you eat and all that, and then like releasing, so you can live your life, your full potential.
Absolutely. So these are things I'll practice, because I have the issue. I think a lot of traders have the same thing where we impulsively do things. If we were to like take longer deep breaths, we'd like be less impulsive when we eat, when we sort of have pleasurable things like cigars.
Yes.
And to take things slower. I think the world needs to slow down a tiny bit, and maybe breathing can help that.
Absolutely. And if you're working in a place where it's like a group, you can also do breathing together to create intention, to manifest intention, to bring affirmations. And I usually use the box breathing to do that with teams. So like when you know what box breathing is?
No, please define it to me. I'm interested.
Well, box breathing, there's 3 types of breath. The triangle breath, which is inhale, exhale, pause. That's how your body should be breathing. Most of us don't do that. Most of us, we inhale, pause. We exhale, pause. and we're not breathing correctly. So we're supposed to be inhale, exhale, pause. That's the way you should breathe. Then there's the box breathing that if we do consciously, it could be very powerful to start being able. What you do is you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, you pause for 4 seconds, and then you go 4, 4, 4, 4.
That's the box one, right, Coach?
Yeah, that's a box breathing.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is practicing, holding to more CO2, and that has its benefits. So the way I practice the box breathing is I do 4, 4, 4, then I go 6, 6, 6, then I go 8, 8, 8, 8, then 10, 10, 10, 12, 12, 12, 14, 14, 14. But you get to 14, 14, 14. It gets harder, right? And then with teams, like the Navy, like my coach taught the Navy SEAL the box breathing, and what they do is when they go into to do some action, something that they're going to go into a country or whatever, do whatever they're going to do, they breathe. So they'll breathe an intention. They're breathing an intention, like going to, like, being safe, and then inhale. Then they hold that affirmation. So if your vision is to make money, right, you inhale abundance, you hold that abundance with a team for 4, 6, or 8 seconds, and then you release that abundance into the world. Then you pause, and you're okay with nothingness. Then you inhale the life force again together, and then you hold that intention. Then you let it go, and then you're okay with nothing. And then, like that.
Oh, wow.
And so you can play with that, and it's very powerful when you do it with a group of people and a team.
Yeah, I think when you're in a group, a team, everyone's dynamics are so different from one another that I think doing box breathing could, like, kind of bring us as one, and then going into nothingness, and that's where ideas and creation come. So it's something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And folks are up for, we can do it twice a day. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So there you go.
Thanks, Coach. Let's get this. Can you say we have a motto here? Everybody that comes onto the podcast, we tell them, let's get this crypto. Can you say that for us, Coach? Let's get this crypto. Can you say, let's get this crypto?
Let's get this crypto.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's get this crypto. Let's go.
Let's get crypto.
This crypto with a lot of breath. Let's get this crypto.
That's awesome.
Happy days, man. We're enjoying that. I was telling you, I think it was yesterday, man. We sold out 1,000 NFTs, $297 each in 2 minutes, man. The interest in this project, the amount of sophisticated investors, most of them, are so experienced in this. A lot of them are millionaires that have done very well here. And just looking at this opportunity, we're gonna bring you up to speed, because I know you want to invest with us as well. So you'll be joining us in that vision as an investor and also as a friend and support. A lot of these guys, definitely, I think, can benefit from your knowledge and experience.
Okay.
Hey, Coach. My name's Brad. I just wanted to say hello, and I followed the breathing exercises, and I used to be a personal trainer, and a big part of training people is controlling their breathing. It's not something that it's been a couple of years since the beginning of COVID, actually, that I've actually been actively doing that. And so I've sort of become detached from it, if I'm completely honest. And I followed that breathing exercise, and the first one, I almost felt like I was hyperventilating the first
Yes.
time, like, I was getting a bit dizzy. And then
Mm-hmm.
on the second one, and I could barely hold my breath for the fifth one, when you said you just hold it until you can and feel relaxed. And then by the second one, and this has really surprised me, I was just messaging Atlas and telling him, in just that very short space of time, which was, a minute, if that, by the second exercise, I held my breath for nearly a minute, completely comfortably, compared to the first one, which was like 20, 25 seconds maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it was because, I had my eyes closed and I was completely relaxed, and I was just, it was just very comfortable. And I was really surprised, because it's something that as a personal trainer, you really have to keep an eye on. If someone's doing any type of exercise at all, whether it be lifting weights or cardiovascular, you really have to prompt them to breathe, because people tend not to. They tend to, or their breathing becomes erratic, and I was really, really surprised. So that is definitely something that, while I'm sitting at home and I'm on the VC and I'm helping people in those spaces between, I'm definitely gonna just start that from now going forward, because even now, 5-10 minutes after, I just feel much more relaxed and more comfortable. And it's like you said, breathing is something that we do without thinking about it, so you don't take control of it. And unless I was physically doing exercise myself or monitoring somebody else, it wasn't something that I was aware of. You just do it.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised that my whole body, just not even my body, it's more my mind. If I'm honest, my mind feels just so much more relaxed, because we've been doing 12-14 hour days here, and my sleep's been off because of the longer hours, and I feel so relaxed, and funnily enough, I was going to go for a cigarette as we were talking, and we started the breathing exercise, and I decided not to do that. And you tend to smoke to either deal with stress or or to relax. And yeah, it's really really impressed, really surprised at how differently I feel just after doing two. So I can only imagine doing it 5-10 times a day, how much clarity that will bring to my life. So just want to thank you, because that is definitely something I'm gonna continue to do from now on.
You're welcome. It's yeah, it's that relaxation. It's one of the keys. Remember, awareness, relaxation, and then the third skill is taking charge of the breath. So what we did there is we took charge of the breath. We became conscious, and then we started breathing a certain way, right? So it's integrating the awareness, the relaxation, and then using, us actually shifting the breath. And the more you do that, the more you master your life.
I can really see that. One of the people who I find very interesting in this world is Wim Hof. I don't know about anybody else. I've only ever heard of Wim Hof that
Wim
does it,
Hof.
and I've literally watched him take two people who have never, done breathing exercises at all, and get into sub-zero water, which you would shock the body and could cause death. And he takes them in, and obviously he teaches them the breathing before they get in, but through the breathing they can get into sub-zero water and be comfortable there. So and I found that fascinating, because a lot of people think that he is a superhuman and he's the only person that can do it, but it's not. He literally teaches the cameraman and the editor. It was a Vice documentary, And the cameraman was, sorry, not the cameraman, the interviewer, he wasn't allowed to do it without the editor doing it as well, because, you know, some safety issues or whatever. I don't know, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he took two normal people who have never done any breathing, and through breathing got them into ice, you know, below zero water and wherever it is he lives, I can't remember. And so it really is something that anybody can do. And I'm very very surprised that I thought, I didn't think that it was going to make any difference. I'll be completely honest. I thought, I'll do this because, you know, you're obviously an expert and you listen to people in their fields of expertise, but I didn't think this is going to make any difference to me here and now. And it did instantly, like literally from the first breathing exercise to the second one, there was a huge difference, and they were inside a couple of minutes of each other. So, you know, fantastic. And I'm going to continue to do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Let's get this crypto. It's the mantra, man. It's the mantra, brother. Yes, man. So thanks for coming, and yeah, I'll be giving you a call tomorrow, Coach. We're going to schedule the team and get some good things going. Get you educated so that you can join us on this. Passive income is the now. We're tired of looking at the charts. What's Ethereum doing? What's Solana? Who cares, man? I just want my passive income coming in, growing, and just providing that sustainable long-term, you know, return, which is people are really looking for right now. That sustainable, you know, addition to their income. They have a job they hate, you know, into the whole rat race, 5 or longer, or, you know, slave wagery, man. Like the whole slave wage is people are looking for getting out of that matrix, and that's what we're doing here, man.
Yes, sir. It's awesome.
Help us shift them. All right.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're going to be closing up as well. Mr. Fortunate, if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and finish the podcast for tonight. I want to thank everyone who joined us this evening, the great questions, the conversations. Coach Roberto for coming through and talking about the breath and showing us the breath, and seeing some great feedback here. You know, we all need to be able to find a little bit of peace and calm and time for ourselves. And we'll be incorporating that as we grow here, and making sure that folks are feeling calm, cool, and collected, which is the way that that you need to be successful in this business. So everyone have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. UTC. Thank you for being here. Good night.
Night.